Today on JIC Labs, we're going to look at the updated VLOOKUP, also known as XLOOKUP. Let's get started. Now that you have Excel open and ready to go, you're going to notice pretty much the same exact data that we have set up here as we did when we utilized the VLOOKUP functions. But we're going to look into the new version of VLOOKUP. It's called XLOOKUP. Before you get excited about XLOOKUP, it is only available on the latest versions of Microsoft Excel. That would be Microsoft Excel 2021 or Microsoft Office 365, or if you're using Office Online. Otherwise, older versions of Excel, you will not be able to utilize this function. So if you were considering whether or not to upgrade or to go with Microsoft 365, over here or over there, we talked about some of the pros and cons between Office 2019 and Microsoft 365. Well, now that there's Office 2021, it's the same basic thing, but now with Office 2021, you have all of the latest and greatest functions. Anyway, let's get started. So once again, we have our table of data. It has items, parts, cost, sell price, and if you'll notice over here, we have the items duplicated. We'll get to that here in a little bit. So once again, we want to know the sell price of item 102. So just like typing in VLOOKUP, we're going to type in XLOOKUP. We're going to open up those parentheses. The very first thing we're going to say, what are we looking up? Well, we're looking up A12 as our item. We're going to hit comma, and it says, what are we looking up? And we're going to select just what we are actually looking up. We will hit comma again, and we're going to return what items are we want to reference. Well, we're looking up the sell price, so we're going to highlight the sell prices. Hit comma one more time. And then the very cool feature with XLOOKUP that we had to utilize with if error and VLOOKUP is that it has what if it's not found built into it. So we're going to come in here with quotations, not found. Close those quotation marks and hit comma. Well, right now we could close out the parentheses and be good to go, but for our first example, we will show you the other options. So the very next thing is your match mode. How are we doing it? 0 is exact match. Again, if you close the parentheses, it defaults to exact match. And the next comma, the next is our search mode. Are we searching first to last to first, etc.? Again, we're searching first to last, so we'll close out those parentheses and we will hit enter. And we'll see we have a sell price for item 102 of $35. So that you can see that example, this is what that looks like, except for if we were to delete these items, you would see not found. Or again, if we hit 106, not found. But if we go back to 102, it reports the sell price that we're looking for. So it's a XLOOKUP has a lot more features and it's a lot easier to use. So a very cool thing about XLOOKUP as well is it doesn't care where in your data set where the item you are looking up is referenced. So if you remember with VLOOKUP, what the array that you're looking up has to be the far left. Well, XLOOKUP doesn't care. So let's do the same thing with cost. We're going to come in here and say XLOOKUP. What are we looking up? We're looking up our item. Where are we looking up? Well, we have the items over here, right? But now we're going to select the far most right columns, which is E. We're looking those up, and then our cost mode is to the left, and we're going to just close out the parentheses. We're not going to put in not found because we know item 102 is there. So we're just going to close out those parentheses, and we're going to hit enter. And you can see with this equation, referencing or looking up in column E, you're able to pull a data from column C. With VLOOKUP, the items had to be in column A or your far most left column of the array that you've selected. Another plus with XLOOKUP is with VLOOKUP, you had to highlight this entire area and then count the number of columns over. If you had hidden columns or forgot that you had hidden columns and you're just counting visually what you see, you're going to potentially run into some different errors. But here there's no counting. It's what you want to look up and what you want to report. XLOOKUP is going to make your life a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. Another very neat feature with XLOOKUP is we can report more than one value at once. We want to look up cost and sell price. We can do that with one equation with XLOOKUP. So we're going to come in here, XLOOKUP, open the parentheses. Our lookup value is A12. Our lookup array, again, it could be either A or E, so we're just going to leave it as A. And what are we values that we want to return? Well, we want to find both cost and price. So if you highlight both of those columns, and again, we'll just come in not found, and we're going to close out those parentheses because we want exact matches and first to last. And go ahead and hit enter. And you're going to see that with one equation, Excel has made us a little array. If you try to delete it, it's going to say you can't because it is linked these two cells. I don't know if you can tell, but there is, when you're highlighted, both cells have a little box around them. So with that equation over here, XLOOKUP allows you to report multiple sets of data from a single lookup. Advantages of XLOOKUP are it doesn't care where your lookup array values are. As long as it's in the same set of data, you'll be good to go. And you can report multiple items, as in cost and sell price, at the same exact time. Now that we've gone over fairly simple XLOOKUP equations, let's scroll down to our second example. So now with XLOOKUP, you can utilize both a vertical and horizontal match. So we've added in sell prices, sell price 1 and sell price 2 to our part numbers. And what we want to do is we're going to utilize XLOOKUP to tell us what is the sell price of item 102 of sell price number 2. As we can see, that is 32.25, but we're going to come in here and delete that out because you all need to see how we're going to make that equation. So once again, we're going to come in here and type VLOOKUP, or since it's an XLOOKUP video, we're going to type in XLOOKUP. The first thing we want to look up is the item. We're going to hit comma. What items are we looking up? We're going to highlight those. And then immediately we're going to type in another XLOOKUP. We're going to nest the XLOOKUPs. And what are we looking up? Sell price. We're going to highlight the headers of what we're trying to look up, and we'll hit comma, and then we're going to come in here and highlight all of our information. We're going to close out those parentheses, and we're going to hit enter. And you're going to see that we return 33.25. So if we look at the example down below, or we look at this equation, you can see our first XLOOKUP is looking at the first item that we want to reference, which is our items. And where are those items located? That's in column A. And then we immediately nest another XLOOKUP function. And what is the second item that we're looking up, which is our sell price number 2. And then we highlight or want to reference or want to look up those arrays in columns A18 to E18. And then down below, the arrays in which we want to report. It almost gives it an X and Y coordinates of the data that it wants to look up. It says, come over here, 102 is in row 20, and list price is in column E, and we're going to report 33.25. XLOOKUP is a great upgrade over VLOOKUP. Unfortunately, you can only utilize XLOOKUP if you have the latest and greatest versions of Microsoft Excel. If you're doing a lot of data analysis, XLOOKUP will make your life a heck of a lot easier, and it's worth perhaps considering an upgrade or moving over to Microsoft 365. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and we'll see you all next week. Today on your glass, right?